Hello, my muses. My name is Julia Pagani, and welcome back to the part 2 of the Notion workshop, where you're gonna learn everything from the very beginning, the very zero of Notion. You don't need to know anything about it at all to do this. We went over all the blocks and some of the database views that we have in part 1, and today we're gonna look at the relations and roll-ups, which I know confuse a lot of people, and Notion for some people is already quite intimidating as it is. And when it comes to roll-ups, relations, and formulas as well, people kind of go a little scared, but I assure you it's simpler than you think. Okay, so let's think about relations as links between databases. Okay, if you've not watched part 1, go ahead and watch it now. Pause this one, go back, watch part 1, and then you can start this. Okay, do not skip ahead. So relations, like I said, work like links between databases. So why would you want to link databases in the first place? Okay, so Notion works as a second brain, which you might have heard the term before. And a second brain is like, my hair is really tickling my nose. A second brain is an extension to your brain. It's a digital searchable, which is a very important word here. It's a searchable extension of your brain. So basically, if you have an idea, you dump it. It's an organized brain dump. Okay, think of it that way. So if you have an idea, you can throw it into your Notion. I usually have a database called Inbox in my systems, in my productivity systems, which are also widgets on my phone. So whenever I have an idea, instead of looking for like a notes app, I simply press Inbox, goes into my inbox, I type whatever idea I have in, done. Later, I will come back and then take that idea and place in the right database. But relations, they work like links between databases, and they allow you to pull information from those linked databases across them. So you can pull from database 1 to database 2, database 2 to database 1. And that opens up a lot of options inside Notion, a lot of powerful little things you can do inside the platform. And so those links are relations, and the information that you choose to pull, so the property information. So you have, for example, a number information in database 1 that you want to show in database 2, you create a relation, a link, so Notion knows what you're talking about, what's point A and point B. And then the roll-up is what is going to show the property that you choose. So you need a relation to have a roll-up. Let's see that in practical terms. I'm going to open what we had before in part 1. And that's the database we had in part 1 that we tested the views in and tested a few properties. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna make this slightly smaller so we can get some space. What we're gonna do is simply duplicate this database. So we have 2 databases without content. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have any content anyway. And then I'm gonna take a look. Oh, we do have some content. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at the properties I have just to see what I'm gonna do. Okay, database test. Let's call this cookies. And let's call this jar. No, the other way around. Cookies and jar. Jar. All right, cookie in the jar. Then take a look at all the props, and I'm gonna delete a few properties from database 2. such as these. Status, there's too much going on. All right, that's good enough. So I want to put the cookies in the jar, okay? I want to get the information from the cookies database and pull it into the jar. I want to put the information into the jar. So I'm going to need to have a relation, and it doesn't matter in which database you make the relation. It only matters if you don't want to see the relation in another database. So we're going to take a look at that. Okay, why would you not want to show a relation? It's mostly aesthetic, but it can happen. So we're gonna create, and you can also create a relation within the same database, which is basically what sub-items in the configuration of the databases. We can take a look at that at the end because it's sort of related to the relations cacophony. But it basically you can create sub-items and connect information from within the database. We're gonna let's keep it simple for now. So let's create a relation with the cookies. And so limit and show on cookies are two of the options that we have here. Limit, basically, if you are doing, for example, a financial hub, like we have the financial hub, and I'm about to release the advanced financial hub. Spoilers. You might not want your expenses to be accounted on multiple accounts. You want to be able to choose just one account to avoid counting mistakes, to avoid cross information, because if you are removing money from one account, then it's just one account. It cannot be from two. That's another entry, right? So you can limit when you choose information from one to another database to just being one thing that you can pick, and then it switches for you. But for example, on the Ultimate Fitness Center, the UFC, when you are putting your workout together, you can choose multiple exercises per set, per entry, meaning that you can do a biset. So you can do 2 exercises in one set, rest, and so you can put 2 exercises in that relation. So right now we're gonna leave to no limit, and show cookies will create a related property on cookies. But you might also not want to show that relation on the other database. And an example of that would be, let me think of an example. Why don't I have, for some automations, you might need to show and then hide the relation so that it doesn't make things busy, or you can just create a new view with all the relations that you have. The system overview that I created for Solopreneur, I sometimes do not show the relation. No, I do show. Wait, I cannot think of an example right now, but if I do, I'll mention it. But anyway, that's why I create a all props view, which is usually a table view because I find it easier to work with. But for other views, I hide all the relations and all the things that we don't need to see all the time. You can automate the relations with buttons. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more user-friendly as well, especially because I create templates, I create systems for other people to use. So I want it to be as easy as possible, okay? So add relation, and then we have an option to wrap in view. I normally don't care about this unless I do have to see the relations. What this does, if you don't remember, wrapping means that if you have a very long text, it will be cut off, or it can be wrapped to show the entire thing on a next line. It breaks the line of the text. I don't care about this right now, so I can always change anyways. And yeah, we can close that. And so now what we have is no entries on jar. So I'm gonna put like jar 1. Oh, I do have an example. If you have a budgeting in your financial system, you might not want to show the budgets in the account, but you can connect the accounts. You can show, hey, this money is coming from that account. I just don't need to see it in the account itself, because you can create filtered views and put on templates. So you remove information from that you don't really need to see by not showing the relation. The relation is going to be there, the relationship of databases, but you don't have to show that. So you can always create templates and filter them, and you can filter automatically when something is created with a template. So a little bit too advanced, but it's okay. You're gonna get there, you're gonna understand it soon. So now we have jar 1 and we have jar 2, and we also gonna have more entries over here. So I'm gonna call this cookies, cookie 1, cookie 2. Actually, let's just delete that and choose a cookie. I'm gonna, oops, I duplicated wrong. Why is it not duplicated inside? Thank you. I'm just gonna duplicate a few, and I'm pressing Command D in case you don't remember, which on Windows will be Command Control D. I'm also gonna change some of these options so that we have different information to show, and I'm gonna be so for example, this one is not wrapped, but if I click wrap column, then we're gonna see all the options in the next line. 1 and 5 number, we are gonna put a few different numbers. 140. I really like the number 27, is my lucky number. And then something random. Remembering you can make calculations like this, so we have the sum down here. And that's good for now. Okay, so we have jar 1 and jar 2. I'm gonna pull the relations to the front and connect. Okay, I'm gonna put 3 cookies, cookie 1, cookie 3, and cookie 5 on jar 1, and I'm gonna put cookie 2 and cookie 3. Wait, no, 3 went already. It's 2 and 4 on jar 2. I'm gonna turn wrap column on just so we see all the entries. So in the end, I did turn it on for you. And so now we got the relation active also on our other database. And there is a cool trick now in Notion that if you press over here on the column, you can turn freeze up. And so all the columns up to the column that you chose will be sticky, and you can see always what the entry is, right? What the information that you want to see all the time is. Kind of cool. Thank you, Notion. Very useful. And now we can also add some relations, some rollups, in order to pull information from the relations that we have. So the information that the rollup will pick up is from whatever is connected through the entries that you chose. So plus, and then we type rollup. So in this case, I want to show the information from the cookies in the jar. I love that. So I normally don't name my rollups. I don't do anything crazy with my rollups because I use the rollups as rarely I will fix the look, the aesthetic of the roll-up column. Okay, I normally do a lot of formulas with that information. Sometimes I find it easier to do through roll-ups than with the formula itself, because you are able to do this inside the formula. Don't worry about it. But just so you know that you don't need to worry too much about what you name the roll-up. Also because when you're doing the views, the gallery view, what you end up seeing is just the result of the rollup, the content of the rollup. So I normally name something like rollup.cookie. I'm gonna turn wrap column, and then we can edit that property. And so now it asks us to choose a relation. So I'm gonna choose the only relation we have, cookies, and then we can pick whatever information we want, whatever part, whatever column, whatever property that we want. So if we choose number, we can also make calculations. So whenever you don't show any calculations, it just shows original, you will get whatever it is on that database. So let me just close it here. Number ahead. So we have 50, 140, 50, 27, and 38,457 for jar 1, and for jar 2 we have 140 and 1,000 because it corresponds to the two that we have connected. So you can also you cannot make calculations through here, but you can make calculations through the roll up. So you can either show original, you can sum it up just like you would here, and then it will show the sum of all the entries. So you can see how that would be useful when you are making like a sales deck. You have your clients in cookies, and then you have your projects page, or you have a financial system for your business that shows the sales that you've made, the accounts that you've made for that month, that you can also filter. So you can filter to show this month's accounts and how much you've made through that. So don't worry about it. Don't worry how to execute it. Just nod your head for now. Just like, okay, that's useful. Just know that it's possible, but you will not make, you're not gonna be able to make calculations with the column until you've done a calculation with the entry itself. So first you need to do a calculation here to be able to do a calculation here. So you can either do an average or sum or whatever, any option. So let's sum it up. So it's gonna show the same thing. Now, if I want to show, for example, the selects and the options, we can just add another rollup and call it, what is it? Selects. Cookies select. You can also just name it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Select. Where is it? Here. Actually, let's go with status. I think I didn't do anything to status. Whatever. Select. And so each type of property is going to have a different type of calculation, which you might not always want to see. So count unique values will show whatever values without repeating itself you have for jar 1 and jar 2. So if I do, for example, show original, well, in this case they are all different. So let me see, this one has it's because select. Okay, let me show you with multi-select. Multi-select, now we're gonna see repeated entries. So you have option 5 and option 5, option 3, option 3, option 1 and option 1 repeated. So by choosing show unique values, you cut the repetitions off, just so you know. And so that's basically what rollups and relations do. It allows you to pull the information, link the information, make calculations between databases, and show those calculations in a different view as well. Of course, we can do something like this. So jar 1 is worth 1,140, and jar 2 is worth 1,440. 140, and jar 1 is worth 38,534. We do not need to show the properties, all the properties at any time. You're not gonna lose information by hiding properties. You're not gonna lose the relation by hiding properties. It's all good. Don't worry about it, okay? Last thing we're gonna look is the sub items, which are basically relations within itself. We can also rename our relations, okay? I just don't know why it's not showing. It's fine. I clicked automations by accident. We can rename our relations. If we open over here, I think we can do it more easily here. Rename parent cookie. I like to do it like this because sometimes it confuses my brain. Sub cookie. So as you can see, it's a relation just like any other related to this database. You can change the limit. It's the same thing as creating a relation within itself. It's just, they've just made it easier for us. So you can simply drag one entry inside another and then hide it with the toggle. So now this cookie 2 belongs to cookie 1. And for example, I use this when I'm creating categories for financial systems, or when I'm creating SOPs for standard operating procedures for businesses. I use this to categorize anything that, or filter. I sometimes create a filter in a database, create a relation to other databases so that all the databases can use those entries and they're all separated and organized like this. So I can see, for example, how much I've spent per category, and it's going to show, usually it's the other way around, right? This would be here actually. So I can see how much I've spent in, I don't know, dining out if it's a the financial hub. If you download one, I think the wish list has this and the financial hub has this sub items. If you downloaded the free version of it, you will see how this works and you can play around, okay? And that's it. That's it for relations and rollups. It's quite a simple concept. But I confess that when I was learning Notion, learning by myself, even with explanation from people, I got confused. I was like, I don't get it. Like, I just don't understand. And it's quite simple. Once you, it's just a link. And then with that link, I'm able to sort of reach and grab that information. I hope this was easy enough for everyone to understand. If you have a question, pop into the Adventure Empire Instagram, which is linked in the description, or come say hi to through my Instagram on I'm Julia Pagani. I'm responsive either way. Go check out the free templates and the premium templates as well. It's also linked in the description. If you have any questions, DM, comments, and I would like you to say, post a comment if you've come this far, okay? And it's gonna be, I ate a cookie today. Even if I haven't eaten a cookie. Okay? And bonus point if you tell me what's your favorite cookie. Anyway, bye.